The Quinnipiac men's soccer team earned its way to the MAC championship last Sunday, where it faced a familiar foe. Would the Bobcats finally be crowned conference champs?
And the Quinnipiac men's basketball team took on the defending NCAA champs, the Villanova Wildcats, in a homecoming for QU head coach Baker Dunleavy. Would Quinnipiac put up a fight?
We're very happy to be with you for the next 30 minutes. You ready, Silves?
Let's get this bread.
Sports Paws starts right now.
Welcome into Sports Paws. I'm Josh Silverman.
And I'm Matt Halpin. It was a busy weekend for Quinnipiac athletics. Luckily for all you beautiful people, we're going to break it down here for the next half hour. Let's roll, Josh.
Let's roll. After their 8-1-1 finish in conference play this season, the Quinnipiac Bobcats earned a first-round bye in the MAC playoffs. After 3-seeded Marist beat St. Peter's, they traveled to Hampton to face Quinnipiac for the chance to play in the MAC championship game. Let's take a look at how this crazy game unfolded. Like I said, it's the MAC semifinals action in Hampton. Quinnipiac taking on Marist, firing on all cylinders. Marist was early. Here's what they would do. They'd put it past Jared Mazzola, 1-0 Marist, and then a little bit later in this one, Marcus Gidman with the shot off the post. That is going in 2-0 Marist. But then Quinnipiac was not done. They were in this game for a reason. Who do you turn to? You turn to Eamon Whalen. But what? He passed it to Rashawn Dally, who scores. Quinnipiac will go into the half up 2-1. Matt, you take it away now.
Well, speaking of Quinnipiac's main man, Eamon Whalen, let's take it to the second half, where he's really going to prove himself with a wonder strike. Look at this. Takes a touch past the defender, and then rainbow just off the goalkeeper's fingertips, but it trickles in. Quinnipiac ties the game at 2. A little bit later now, a ball whipped into the box, and Yeppe Hari is going to get above everyone and rifle a header into the back corner to put Quinnipiac up 3-2 late. However, Marist would respond. You're going to see just gets past on the rebound, ties it up, and this game is going into overtime. Now, overtime, there was a very controversial handball inside the box. It would be called a penalty, a chance to end it. Mazzola is going to say, not on my watch. The game would keep going to penalty kicks after a great save.
Penalty kicks we go, Matt. Now first shooter for Quinnipiac, Jordan Bennett. Chance to start Quinnipiac up 1-0. Here he goes. Oh! It's in! Oh no, long right, Jordan Bennett, he can't believe it. Quinnipiac could not start off.
Likewise for Marissimo Jorgensen, and a great save, keeps it even at 0.
Now Quinnipiac's Matthew Taylor, would he have a chance to get it? He goes, oh, he gets denied as well. The goalie just doing his job.
And the goalies in this game were absolutely ridiculous, but this shot did not even need goalkeeper assistance. Skies the ball. The disrespect by Mazzola, points over the crossbar.
Got the point exactly, Matt. So disrespectful. Now Quinnipiac would score. Ernest Mitchell would get denied. What a game by Jared Mazzola. He would get the Bobcats 8-7 in penalty kicks. Quinnipiac would advance to play Ryder in the MAC championship game. He gets mobbed, and we will hear from Jared Mazzola post-game.
It's a great feeling. I just can't wait to show everyone who we really are. It's going to be awesome.
Who are you really?
The 2018 MAC champions.
With the stage set for the MAC championship game, it's important to put the game into context. Quinnipiac would face Ryder, a team they lost to at home in the MAC championship game in 2016. Ryder was the number 2 seed in that game, and Quinnipiac was the 1. This time around, Ryder was the 5 seed, and Quinnipiac was the 2. So would the result be the same? Matt, what happened?
Well, let's see how Jared Mazzola's statement would hold up. He said that they would win the MAC championship before the game even started. You see, both teams are going to be walking out of the tunnel here in the first half. Ryder actually the number 5 seed and Quinnipiac number 2. So a little bit of separation between these teams, but you wouldn't be able to tell on the field. We're going to see right here Ryder trying to start the game off, but a very convincing save by Mazzola to start it. A little bit later, Quinnipiac. Oh, a great save by the Ryder keeper. I mean, we're seeing a trend in this MAC tournament with just great goalkeeping. Second half now, and Ryder is going to barely get it started with the scoring. However, it counts for the same amount. 1-0 Ryder in the 54th minute after a great goal just trickles in. and they would be defending their lead for the rest of the game. Yeppe Hari tries to whip it in for Whalen, and Daly, and Whalen, but cannot put it in. The frustration from everybody on the field, you can see it. This is in the dying moments of the game. Great save, and then just wide of the net. See, you can see it's looks in from that angle, but
ridiculous.
Was not. And then one last opportunity, and a great save just to close it out. You could see these Quinnipiac players just could not be more frustrated. Ryder would go on to win the MAC championship. Let's hear from Eric DaCosta after the game.
To be playing your best soccer at the end of the year, and I think we played our best soccer today. It just, wasn't enough. We didn't get the bounce, and they did, and that's just how life goes. We'll pick ourselves up, we'll dust ourselves off, and we'll move on. And I'll tell the guys when I see them again that this one result doesn't define us. It doesn't define our season. We know what we did, what we achieved, and someone has to win, someone has to lose, and today wasn't our day.
Now for more coverage, it's time to bring in my good friend and someone I spent a lot of time with this weekend, Shane Dennehy. Shane, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Josh. Yeah, we spent the whole weekend together.
Oh, yeah.
It was quite the journey. Matt, happy to have you back from England and back on the desk.
Great to be back.
It's a lot of fun. Shane, what went wrong in the championship game for the Bobcats?
Yeah, Josh and Matt, this was another tough game for Quinnipiac against Ryder, and honestly, it was back and forth throughout in the first half. A little bit into the second half, Ryder finally got the go-ahead goal that would stand as the winner, and Jared Mazzola just inches away from making another great save, as he has so much this season. But once Ryder really got that lead, they really stayed compact and organized the entire time, and really frustrated Quinnipiac, who really likes to drive the ball up through the middle and really use Dejan Duric as that pivot in the three-man midfield and get it up forward to Rashawn Daly and Eamon Whalen so they can combine and work off each other as they have so much this season. And really, Ryder prevented them from doing that late in the second half and really just forcing Quinnipiac to play out wide, play on the wings, and force long crosses into the box. And when you're going to do that and deny Eamon Whalen the service that he needs to really be successful, because Eamon Whalen really can't produce for himself. That's more of Rashawn Daly's role. He's able to do that. But Ryder stayed compact much of the second half and really forced Quinnipiac to stay out wide, and ultimately Quinnipiac wasn't able to capitalize on the minimal chances they did get.
Shane, obviously it's not an ideal end for the Bobcats, but would you consider this season a success?
Matt, I'm going to definitely have to say this season was a success. Obviously, Quinnipiac selected 4th in the preseason coaches poll. Really kind of surpassed expectations. I think expectations were lowered a little bit with the amount of talent they lost with Max Rothenbucher, James Doig in the midfield. It was really concerning who was really going to step up. Eamon Whalen had a down year last season, but Eamon Whalen got back to the form that we saw him in his freshman year. He was a MAC Offensive Player of the Year, and I think this was a success, getting to another MAC championship game the second time in 3 years, unfortunately coming up in the losing end. But as Eric DaCosta said after the game, any chance of getting to the final is always a success, and it was. To go 8-1-1 in MAC play after being 0-4-1 to start the play after a really tough out-of-conference schedule from where they were to where they ended up, it has to be a success for Eric DaCosta and his squad.
Now, looking back on the season, Shane, who is the standout player from this year?
I think there's only one choice for this. I think it has to be sophomore goalie Jared Mazzola. No one saw this. Chris Yakovidis has been the starter since the day he set foot on this campus from Greece. He even started in that at the beginning of this season. I was really surprised they went to Mazzola, but Mazzola's just taken the reins as that #1 goalie. He was absolutely outstanding for the Bobcats this year. He finished 4th in goals against average in the MAC. He was 3rd in saves per game. He was just unbelievable. The Marist game just epitomized everything he did this season, the amount of saves he made, the huge save in the second overtime to keep Quinnipiac in this and force it to go to PKs. And his performance in PKs was just absolutely outstanding. He's the reason that Quinnipiac got so far. He made all those saves down the stretch for QU. And it's just unreal what he was able to accomplish this season, where really he came out of the blue. No one saw this coming from him. Chris Yakovidis was the #1 goalie, and then Eric DaCosta had the courage to make Jared Mazzola the starter. And obviously, Chris Yakovidis, I think down the stretch, he was an amazing teammate. Just to have your #1 spot ripped away from you, he continuously showed encouragement to all of his teammates. He didn't sit on the bench and sulk, and I think that comes a lot and really represents what the type of players that Eric DaCosta recruits to his program.
Months from now, when the sun rises on a new MAC soccer season, what do you think the team's mentality will be entering the 2019 season?
I think they're going to go out all for it again, and that's what this Quinnipiac program is. They want to win. They want to win the MAC. They want to get to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, they've fallen short 2 of the past 3 years, but you got the likes of Eamon Whalen coming back, Jordan Bennett, his second year. Dejan Duric, I think, was really an unsung hero for Quinnipiac all this year. Just a deep-lying midfielders don't get any love, Matt, as you would know, but really he was outstanding. I think Quinnipiac has a lot of talent with Eamon Whalen, Jordan Bennett, Dejan Duric, Connor McCoy, and Yeppe Are, 2 senior center backs coming back, and then you've seen with Jared Mazzola. did this year. He's going to be a junior, so I think Quinnipiac's going to have quite the successful campaign next year.
Great. Thank you for your insight as always, Shane. I'm looking forward to next season and our next trip together.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait, Josh.
All right, the Quinnipiac rugby team started its quest to win a 4th straight national championship. 230B reporter Kyle Lavasser covered Quinnipiac's matchup against Notre Dame College in the NIRA quarterfinals. Take a look.
We are on a mission!
3 wins. That's the road to a 4th straight national championship. The playoff journey started with a quarterfinal game against Notre Dame College on Quinnipiac's senior day. The Bobcats' 2 seniors, Katria Sands and Emily Roskoff, have won a national championship every year since entering Quinnipiac. They hope to keep the streak going.
It's kind of one and done right now, so if we don't show up today, there's not a tomorrow.
Roskoff showed up with Quinnipiac's first try en route to a 46-5 win. With overnight rainstorms and now snow showering down on Hamden leading up to the game, and now even afterwards, it left the field completely cold, windy, and muddy. But how did the weather affect the game? Both sides had differing viewpoints.
We can't be on the sidelines changing everyone's mindset on the field like, hey, you know, it's fine, you're fine, you know, get back up, make that hit. Sometimes the switch doesn't click, and we kind of played on the back foot a little bit.
I don't think it really affected that much. I think that there are a couple of slip-ups, but we train in this all week, so like we know what to prepare for, and we're very lucky that we have grass fields, because that's what we're going to be playing on for nationals. It's going to be the same exact thing.
Quinnipiac will travel to Hanover, New Hampshire to face Harvard in the semifinals on Friday. After losing to the Crimson twice in the regular season, the Bobcats head coach Becky Carlson says her team still has a bad taste in its mouth.
After those first 2 losses against Harvard and Dartmouth, people kind of forgot about us and are like, oh, well, it's rugby's time to fall. They've been winning for quite a while, and maybe this is it. And they're not content with that, and our staff's not content with that. And, you know, our thing in the locker room was, you know what, like, make them remember you.
Reporting from the Quinnipiac rugby field, I'm Kyle Lavasser, Q30 Sports.
Anything you can do twice, you can do thrice. That is at least the mentality that the Harvard Crimson will carry into the game against the Quinnipiac rugby team when they face off in the semifinals. The 2 teams have faced off twice this year so far, with Harvard taking both matchups narrowly, but will be hoping to take this third to advance to the NIRA championship. Let's take a look at the tournament bracket. We're going to see here, obviously, number 2, Harvard against number 3, Quinnipiac, and then on the other side of the bracket, number 1, Dartmouth against number 4, Army. The winner will advance to the championship, which will be played November 11th, and Quinnipiac will surely be hoping to take vengeance against Harvard to advance to this game.
Certainly, Matt. When we come back, the Quinnipiac men's hockey team has been rolling so far this season. See how the weekend affected the polls.
And the Quinnipiac men's basketball team took on last year's NCAA champs. Were they able to keep pace with some of the best in the league?
Find out right after this.
Welcome to the WQAQ Morning Show. Dan Ball and Emma Spagnolo joining you here from the QAQ studios in Hamden. And Emma, it is that time of year again.
Tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Qcash is accepted.
Now that's a sandwich.
Let's get it going. Sports Paws starts right now.
We start tonight with some basketball coverage.
And here again, Aaron Robinson hits the shot of his life. I don't know what that celebration is, MJ, but I'm loving it.
Is that Fortnite?
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Glad you stayed with us. The Quinnipiac men's hockey team was back in action this week in Hamden as they faced off against ECAC foe RPI. The Bobcats shut down the Engineers in a 3-0 victory, which saw goals from Chase Prisky, Daniel Winslow, and Odine Tufto. Starting goaltender Andrew Shortridge didn't have to make too many stops, but came up reliable, stopping all 12 that he faced. Let's take a look at how the team fared against Union on Saturday. We're going to take it now. Men's ice hockey against Union at the People's United Center in Hamden. It was Army Military Appreciation Night. The team came out in camouflage jerseys, and we had some heartwarming moments saluting veterans to our nation. You see the team hyping themselves up there. Into the first period now, just 3 minutes. The hype would soon wear off after a great snipe from Ryan Walker past Keith Petrozelli. What a snipe to put them up 1-0. And this game was very scrappy from the start. Wouldn't tone down at all. You see Alex Whalen getting it into it quite a little bit. Into the second period now, the Bobcats were down 2-0, but they got something to say. They're back in this game. It's 2-1. That's freshman Matt Lombardi. Great goal, catching the keeper off guard. Third period, this is where things would start to unravel quite a bit in this game. You see just a little tap-in goal in front of the net right there. Union goes up 3-1, little insurance goal, and now another insurance goal right there. If anything, that one just puts it away, but Union would not be done yet. One more goal, and this game just got out of hand very quickly. An embarrassing loss. Let's hear from Rand Pecknold after the game.
So there was, there's some good things tonight, but Union deserved the win. They were the better team, and when we needed guys to make plays, they didn't make them, and we need to play better than that if we're going to beat a team of the quality that Union is. They're for sure a top 15 program in the country, and we'll get back at it on Monday and try to get better.
Let's take a look at the ECAC standings after the third and fourth ECAC games in Quinnipiac's season. The Bobcats sit at 7th, sandwiched in the middle of the conference. Princeton, Dartmouth, and RPI take the top 3 spots in the table, while Lawrence and Colgate, who are yet to win an ECAC game, sit at the bottom.
The Quinnipiac men's hockey team fell 1 spot in the UCHL poll this week after splitting the weekend with a win over RPI and a loss to Union, who was ranked 12th before beating Quinnipiac. They remained in the same position as did Minnesota Duluth, who remains locked in at the #1 spot. We've teased it all show, but Quinnipiac traveled to Philadelphia to play the Villanova Wildcats, a team that Baker Dunleavy played for and then served as the associate head coach for 4 seasons under current Nova head coach Jay Wright. With point guard Rich Kelly ruled out with a knee injury and freshman Savion Lewis taking a redshirt year, freshman guard Tyrese Williams started the game for the Bobcats alongside Travis Atson, Cameron Young, Jacob Rigoni, and Kevin Marfo. Marfo, Williams, and Atson all started their first game for Quinnipiac. Let's see if they could keep up with Villanova. Starting out here, it was a banner night for Villanova at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia as they honored last year's national championship team. Here you can see the banner being unveiled. I was there, Matt. The stadium was electric. And there's head coach Baker Dunleavy. He returned to Nova, but that was not what it was about. It was about the players, and there he is slamming it down. Nova would go up 5-0. Then off of a Nova turnover, Aaron Robinson would lead the fast break, would pass it to Cam Young, but gets blocked by Phil Booth. Right there, Nova's size was too much for the Bobcats. Nova up 9-3. Then here, Tyrese Williams would get blocked, and then his teammate Kevin Marfo would get blocked. Nova would lead big so far, but QU was not done. Cameron Young shot out of a cannon, bam, slam! Slam dunk for Cameron Young. But unfortunately for the Bobcats, the second half would be more of the same. Right here we see Villanova with great ball movement, passing it around the key, then takes up Phil Booth on Jacob Rigoni, knocks down the 3. Phil Booth had 23 points in the game. That was too much for the Bobcats as Villanova would win 86-53.
2 short years ago, Quinnipiac was introduced to Pete Kiss and Mikey Dixon. The 2 freshmen were a dynamic scoring duo and terrorized the MAC before transferring to Rutgers and St. John's respectively. At the end of the season now, the 2 are newly eligible to play for their 2 new teams and showed out for their first games in new colors. Kiss contributed 17 points and 4 assists in his first game with the Scarlet Knights, while Dixon dropped 13 on the Drexel Dragons in his first showing for the Red Storm.
The women's basketball team also ventured to Pennsylvania this weekend for a couple of games. The Quinnipiac starting lineup in this one is very similar to last season, with Carly Fabry being the only starter that graduated. Quinnipiac went out with the usual four of Edel Thornton, Jen Fay, Paula Strotwine, and Erin McClure. Taylor Hurd joined the starting lineup in this one. Quinnipiac is coming off a season that saw the team not only reach the NCAA tournament for the second straight season, but get a win in the tournament. Quinnipiac beat Miami last season before losing to NCAA powerhouse UConn in the second round. Now, a season removed from those accomplishments, Quinnipiac didn't miss a beat in its season opener at Drexel. Followed by Jen Fay's 15 points and 8 rebounds, Quinnipiac beat Drexel 56-52 to start the season 1-0. Quinnipiac was able to overcome poor free throw shooting in the fourth quarter thanks to stout defense and controlling the offensive boards. After the game, Quinnipiac head coach Trisha Fabry and forward Jen Fay were all smiles. Sierra Goodwill has more on what they had to say after the Drexel win.
The 2018-19 season is officially underway, and Quinnipiac women's basketball is starting off in the win column. A hard-fought battle with Drexel University in front of a rowdy crowd, and it wasn't always pretty, but head coach Trisha Fabry believes her team played with the intensity she was looking for.
It was really a pillar of who we are, is our grittiness with our basketball. And I thought our defense all game long, but in particular, we were very opportunistic out of the third quarter that led to us getting going in transition.
Again, it's just kind of a deep breath that we get to take. I mean, going into it, obviously, first game of the season, doesn't matter how many years you've been playing, you're going to have some first game jitters, so just getting that win under our belt, it's just a nice calming presence that it brings.
The environment was really good. It was loud. It was exactly what we want to play in front of all the time, like even at home games, away games. So if we can keep getting those crowds even to our home games, it would be great so that we know what it's like when we do get to the tournament again.
This game and this win tonight is going to speak volumes as we continue to build a resume come March.
Jen Fay picked up right where she left off from last season and led the way with 15 points and 8 rebounds. Next up for Quinnipiac, they will stay on the road to face Bucknell University on Sunday. Reporting in Philadelphia, Sierra Goodwill, Q30 Sports.
The Bobcats then traveled 3 hours northwest to Lewisburg, Pennsylvania to face the Bucknell Bison. The game was neck and neck until the third quarter when the Bison outscored Quinnipiac 25-6. Shooting 53% from the field while holding the Bobcats to 1 for 13 shooting. The Bobcats won't see action again until November 23rd when they play Texas in the Gulf Coast Showcase.
On the other side, we'll have a recap of the Quinnipiac volleyball team's weekend and a preview of what may lay ahead for the team.
And of course, top 5 plays. We'll be right back.
Hello, and tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Q-Cash is accepted.
Now that's a sandwich.
If you like debate,
that's a converted relief pitcher making the start because it was a doubleheader. You got no hit by a relief pitcher. You can't tell me that's not embarrassing.
analysis,
You can see his stance, his positioning right there is excellent.
and a side of entertainment.
Is he right or is he crazy?
Well, we all know the answer to that. He's a bit crazy, but I gotta say, you know.
Then join us on Bobcat Breakdown.
From the court to the ice to here on the diamond, we'll discuss everything you need to know about Quinnipiac athletics.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad in your room
or off campus,
tune in to Q30 News for stories from student journalists you can trust.
We're covering the latest here on campus and in the surrounding communities.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. While we've talked a lot about the winter sports in action, there's one fall team we have yet to talk about tonight. That team is the Quinnipiac volleyball team. In its last matchup before leaving for Florida to compete in the MAC tournament, Quinnipiac welcomed Canisius to town. Quinnipiac lost to Canisius 3-0, but celebrated everything senior Kat Miller has contributed to the program in her 4 years at Quinnipiac. Miller recorded 10 kills and 2 digs in the game.
The team then hosted the Niagara Purple Eagles on Sunday. It was their last regular season game before the MAC tournament down in Disney. The Bobcats avenged their previous loss to Niagara with a convincing 3-0 sweep. Lydia Jones recorded 7 kills in the first set in a match which saw Quinnipiac improve to 7 and 11 in the MAC. Sunday was an extra special day for one Bobcat. Kat Miller recorded her 1,000th kill against the Purple Eagles with 16 in the match, some of the best for her end of the season and in her last season. From the back row, she makes the pass and completes the kill, and that'll do it. That's 1,000 for her. Let's take a closer look from the sidelines right there. Textbook, record-setting, perfect.
Such a good player. She's meant so much to this program, Matt.
Absolutely. She is the first player to achieve this since the team transitioned to D1 in 2003. She's held the record for some time.
When Quinnipiac arrives in Disney for the MAC tournament, it will be a 7 seed and will see Niagara again, who is the 6th seed. Although QU lost 2-3 when it traveled to Niagara to face them earlier in the season, QU did just beat Niagara in a shutout 3-0. This will be the 3rd time these two teams meet this season, and with each team taking a W earlier in the season, this playoff game could go either way.
Well, Josh, I think you know what time it is now. My personal favorite time, I think yours too.
It's time for Top 5 Plays. I will start it off with some hockey. A goal for who? No one else. UConn, they scored 5 goals in the game. Which one would it be in this one? It would be a shot from Ryan Walker, top right, his 4th goal of the season, right there, Union's goal.
Snipe City, what a goal. We're going to take it to number 4 now. Men's soccer against Ryder in the MAC Championship. We saw it earlier. Look at this. Last second, incredible save by Umuru, the Ryder keeper. He's going to keep it 1-0.
This is number 3. I'm going to have to talk to the producers about something. Cameron Young, what? He's going to beat his man. He's going to drive down the lane and slam dunk. Cameron Young, that's only number 3, should be number 1. He had a day, 18 points.
Slam bam, thank you, ma'am. Play number 2. Men's soccer at Marist. You're going to see a cross whipped into the box for Yeppe Hare. An absolute bullet off the keeper's fingertips. That puts Quinnipiac ahead 3-2.
Play number 1 is not a play, but a player. It's Jared Mazzola against Marist. Oh, so many saves, including that game-winning save to send them to the MAC championship game against Friday. We know what happened in that one, but it does not take anything away from his day. He's celebrating with his teammates. Jared Mazzola with a great game. Now, with a full slate of games ahead for this weekend, there'll definitely be more Top 5 plays to look forward to. I know I'm excited for the men's basketball home opener against Hartford this Thursday.
That'll be a great game, but I'm excited to see how rugby stands against Harvard in the NIRA semifinals. Although the women's basketball team will be on the road again, their first home game will be December 2nd, so keep an eye out for that one.
That program has had a lot of success in the last couple of years, Matt. While the players and coaches are the ones that fans are keyed in on, there are also players putting in work behind the scenes. Our own Katie O'Keefe has more.
Practice, practice, practice? If you think you know the Quinnipiac women's basketball team, think again. There were 5 men practicing on the court right behind me, and no, they're not players from Baker Dunleavy squad. It's the male practice team, and they've been helping the women's team in preparation for their upcoming season. So let's go ahead and meet some of them.
Well, one of my friends, Rudy, he's also on this team. We were playing one time in the rec center down in Mount Carmel, and I'm really good friends with him. And he came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be on this team. I thought it was a joke at first, but then I came here and I saw the team play and I liked it, and then I met up with the coaches.
We could run. I'm friends with most of them, so it's just like another time chilling with friends. We watch them just like on TV. You see in practice what they go through. It's good.
There are 9 male practice players. They practice Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays with the women. Though it sounds like a little part in the big process, they are crucial to the team's success.
That's all we have for tonight. For all of our coverage and to make sure we got that bread, you can follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports and visit our website at www.q30tv.com.
For everyone behind the scenes, my co-host and certified baller, Josh Silverman, I'm Matt Halpin. Have an excellent night.
That was a great show. That was a great show.